Okay, so let us continue on the first example. So example 1.1, we have here the instruction that we need to determine the type of conic section that each general equation will produce. So let's start with number 1. The given for number 1 is 2x squared plus 4xy plus 3y squared plus 12y minus 1 equal 0. So in the first example here, or item number 1, we are tasked to determine the type of conic section. To determine the type of conic section without graphing this equation, all we have to do is to apply the idea of the discriminant, finding the value of b squared minus 4ac. So to find the value of b squared minus 4ac, we can have that, or also the small letter a and c. So b squared minus 4ac. If we have the value of b squared minus 4ac, it will be easy for us to determine the type of conic section that this equation represents. But of course, before we know the value of b squared minus 4ac, we need to identify first the value of b, a, and c. And based on our equation given earlier, we have the ax squared plus bxy plus cy squared plus, what's next? Plus dx plus ey plus f equals 0. On this format, we can determine now what is the value of b, your a, and your c. So in this format, as you can see, saan lang natin makikita yung a, b, at saka c? Of course, eto lang siya. Sa x squared, sa xy, at saka sa y squared. Even though we can see, meron pa tayo dito d, e, at saka f. The purpose of that d, e, at saka f, later on na natin sila gagamitin. But this time, since yung pinaka-importante lang naman ay yung value ni b, a, at saka c. Kasi kung meron tayong value ni b, at saka ni a, at saka ni c, pwede na natin masabi kung anong type ng conic section siya. So let's continue. Let me erase this one first. So, sa equation natin, yung kukunin lang natin na value or ng coefficient is yung mga coefficient ng x squared, xy, at saka y squared. Yung coefficient ni x squared, yun yung value ng a. Yung coefficient ng xy, yun yung magiging value natin ng b. And the coefficient of y squared will be the value of our c. So let's start. What will be the value of a? So looking at this given equation, yung a natin, as what I have said, is the coefficient of x squared. Let us look at the equation. Saan ba dyan si x squared? So we have here 2x squared plus 4xy plus 3y squared plus 12y minus 1 equals 0. Therefore, the coefficient of a is yung coefficient ng x squared. Ano ba yung number na kasama ng x squared? Take note. We can see here 2. It is positive 2. Do not forget to copy also the sign of the coefficient. Kasi part siya ng number or part siya ng coefficient. So therefore, the value of a here is 2. Just simple as that. Next is the value of b. The value of b can be determined by the coefficient of x and y. So meron tayo ditong x squared, xy, y squared, y, and no verb. So therefore, yung b natin ay yung coefficient ng xy. That will give us 4. So therefore, the value of b is 4. And lastly, the value of c. To determine the value of c, it is just the coefficient of our y squared. The coefficient of y squared, as you can see here, is positive 3. So therefore, value of c is 3. Now, after that we have already determined the different values of a, b, and c, we can now substitute that values in our equation b squared minus 4ac. So let's try this out. B squared minus 4ac. Then substitute. The value of b is 4. So we put 4. Always use parentheses when you are substituting a certain value to avoid na pagkamali sa pag-solve if meron siyang mga sign. So 4 quantity squared minus 4 parentheses. The value of a is 2, close parentheses, open parentheses again, and then put the value of c. The value of c is 3. Then simplify. 4 squared is different from 4 times 2. That is the common error in mathematics. Always remember, once you are squaring a number, you are multiplying the number by itself. So 4 squared is 4 times 4, and that will give you 16. Minus, or, sige, wag muna natin lagyan ng symbol. So since we have here parentheses, it is considered as multiplication. And when you are multiplying, since it is 3 numbers here, dalawa lang muna yung unahin natin. So yung minus na to, pwede natin siyang kasama as a symbol ng 4 or sign ng 4. So negative 4 times positive 2, we will get negative 8. Negative 8, then you multiply that again to 3. Again, negative 4 times positive 2 is negative 8. Negative 8 times positive 3 is negative 24. So put equal sign. The next one is to simplify now. 16 minus 24. What do you get? So since 24 is larger than 16, we will follow the sign of the larger number based sa rules ng ating mga sign numbers. So we put negative 24 minus 16. We are subtracting since we have opposite sign. So we have 24 minus 16, 4. So we have 8. So 24 minus 16 is negative 8. So since the value now of our 16 minus 24 is negative 8, we have now the value, which is negative 8. Next question is that, how can we determine the type of conic section by using this negative 8? So of course, we're going back to that table number 1 that shows the graphs of quadratic equation. And look at under the column of value of b squared minus 4ac. Since it is negative, so circle ba siya, parabola, ellipse, or hyperbola? Let's try to look at the column of value of b squared minus 4ac, or the table 1 on page 9. So, kung circle siya, ang sabi dito, b squared minus 4ac should be less than 0. And a should be equal to c. So since negative 8, we can say that negative 8 is less than 0. That is right. How about, is the value of a equal to c? So of course, it is not equal since the value of a is 2 and the value of c is 3. Right? So it is correct in the first condition. But in the other condition, we cannot say that it is really a circle. Let's try to look at the different values pa dito. For the second one, we can say that it is a parabola if b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0. Do we have 0 here? Of course, hindi. Kasi nga, negative 8. So, reject sa parabola. Next, is it an ellipse? So, b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. It is less than 0. Pasok. Tama siya. Is b not equal to 0? Hindi ba daw equal sa 0 si b? Correct. Kasi yung value ng b natin ay 4. And another thing is, a is not equal to c. Hindi ba equal si a kay c? Hindi. So, it is also correct. So, we can say that the first example here, or the first equation given, is or represent an ellipse based on the condition given. Okay? So, of course, if we're going to check that if that is a hyperbola, it is said here that b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0. So, hindi agad siya pasok. Kasi negative 8 is less than 0. And of course, it is not greater than 0. Understood? Okay.